Do you guys know that geese are hard of hearing? That's why every time you talk to them, they go, huh? Hi, friends. Welcome back, or to the channel. Jesse, Cadillac Rod and Customs. I think we should be able to, for the most part, button up this 302 that we're building. So, all I have left is put an intake on it, the valve covers on it, put the carbonator on it, because I have to order some more shit. I got to order valve covers because I don't like those ones. A timing chain cover, and I'll explain that to you when I get this uncovered. Got to get a water pump, stupid things like that, but I'm not going to do any of the accessories until we get it set in the truck. So as far as the build series on this deal goes, we're probably going to wrap it today because it's not doing very good on the channel anyway, but just get to it. Now, we have the intake out. It's just sitting here just so I can do this part. We got to put a bunch of block-offs, or plugs, not block-offs, plugs in these ports. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 that we need to block off. And this intake did come with a bunch of plugs. So also chose a dual plane basically for the aesthetics. I use Teflon paste. I prefer it over the tape. It's a little messier, but to me it's a better seal. And you don't have to like torque these to the moon because the sealant will do its job. It will seal. So just tighten them down, snug them. They don't have to be fully sent. Okay, so I told you guys I needed to order a new timing chain cover, right? And now I'm about to show you why. Because the first engine I tore down, the 85 engine, the dipstick to check the oil was right here on the side of the block. This engine, however, it's supposed to go right there in the timing chain cover because it's a front sump. The other motor was a rear sump. So it's supposed to go in right there. But there's not a hole there. So I have to order a new timing chain cover for that and a new oil dipstick tube because the one I have is obviously for a rear sump and it won't work. So let's get some gaskets put down, shall we? This first port right here, you guys aren't going to be able to see it, but this one just passes all the way through. You can see right here, it just passes straight through. And the front one does as well. So we need to make sure that we put silicone on these ports on the heads as well as the gaskets before they go into place. Obviously going to go back with the right stuff because I love this shit. Run me a little tiny bit of silicone just around the outside of those ports. If you don't want to put it directly on your heads, put it on your gaskets before you set them down, and it'll work just the same. We're going to go ahead and drop our intake gasket on. Now these ones, I don't know if you guys can pick that up or not, but it actually does say head side. So we're just going to go ahead and plop those down here. And these gaskets actually have a little lip right here where they lock into your head gasket. That way you know it's exactly where it needs to be. Inside. So that's actually pretty nice. Now my rebuild kit come with these little things for the front and the rear of the Valley. And I typically don't like using these. I usually just squirt a bunch of silicone in there and just send it, but I'm going to try these. If I have a leak, I'll come back later and address it. But for now, we're just going to send these in there and see what happens. Again, Right Stuff, where the gaskets meet up with each other here in the corners, we're just going to put some right there. And then go around the water jackets on the outside as well. We have gasket all around the water ports. We have gasket where the gas, or not gasket, we have Right Stuff all around the intake ports where the gaskets meet each other. And let's see if these two want to be friends now. Careful when you're setting these in, don't drop it. If you drop it, you might move your gaskets around a little bit, which I shouldn't have to tell you is not ideal. This intake actually came with studs instead of bolts. I thought that was kind of cool. And these are actually coarse thread on one side, fine thread on the other. The nuts that they came with are fine thread, so the coarse thread end goes down into the motor. My stupid OCD brain, we've had to take all of these back off already twice, because the nuts have lettering on one side, and I realized that about 4 of them in, so I had to take them all back off, flip them over so they were all the same. Now, the torque spec and sequence on this deal is we start right here, and these are torqued to 23 to 25. So I'm just going to split the difference, obviously. But it's a crisscross. You go here, there, 3, 4, then 5, 6, 7, 8, and then right here in the center. So it's pretty simple. I'm going to run through these and just snug them all down before I torque them. That way it's at least somewhat level before I start putting the heat to it. Man, you gonna get there? There it is. From there, back here. Number 4. Maybe. There it is. Number 5. And instead of crisscrossing here, we just go straight across. Now, I'm always talking about, we don't use torque wrenches here, but sometimes you do, you know? This is, however, the first time in my life I've ever torqued down an intake. So, there's that. Go back to the crossing for these 4 inside bolts. And for the top, to top it all off, let's sit this down. I'm going with an Edelbrock 1406. I love Edelbrock carburetors. I've been using them for years. Almost everything on this property is currently running an Edelbrock carburetor. So, if you're going to be a dad, you have to learn how to dad sneeze. It's the first rule. Now when you're going to put your exhaust manifolds on, start your front and your rear bolt and just push the gasket down from above. See? Ooh, guys, it's done, and I got to tell you, it looks Tony Roni. You ready? Mind you, not keeping the valve covers. And I don't know. I kind of think I should ditch the factory manifolds too, because it kind of feels like a disservice to have that pretty block, pretty heads, everything all cleaned and pristine and painted pretty, and then them ugly rusty manifolds. What do you guys think? Should I buy a set of headers for it? Should I just leave the stock manifolds on there? Tell me down there. What do you think? Keep them or lose them? Because I'm going to have some shiny stuff here. I've got this raw aluminum finish here. Should I put some shiny stuff over here? Or should I just leave them and buy some like high temp paint and just paint them black? What do you guys think? Okay, so here is my list and how it breaks down. The rebuild kit I bought from Summit was $268.95. The intake, which again was not part of the budget build, but was $127.57. My timing set, which was a Cloyes double row, was $42.92. My oil pump, which was a Melling high volume pump, was $63.06. The cam bearings were $19. They were just Engine Tech off of eBay. My freeze plug set was $10 ish. Miscellaneous stuff, which is like plastic gauge and paint. Stupid. I think that's pretty much it, actually. It's plastic gauge and paint. Everything else I had. So that was, I don't know, the paint was $12 a can. I bought 2 cans. The plastic gauge was like $4, $5. So all in all, I'm into this rebuild right now, $550 and 90 cents. That's total from when I pulled it out of my truck to right now. And I'll probably still be into it another, depending on if I buy headers or not. If I don't buy headers, I'll probably be into it about another $150, $200. That's the timing chain cover, the oil dipstick, the new water pump. Probably going to replace the alternator in the truck because I don't think that one's going to work. And just odds and ends, like fluids and shit like that. Oh, I need to buy a distributor as well. And that's probably going to be, I don't know, depending on which one I get, probably $50 to $100. They're really not that bad. And then I'll buy a set of plugs too because it just makes sense, you know. So all in all, I'm going to be into this full 100% full rebuild for under, $800, we'll say. That's about, well, I can't say that's about as budget as it gets because it's not. I didn't have to buy the paint. I didn't have to buy a big 4-barrel intake. Realistically, I could have got this done for about $600. What do you guys think of the build series? Should I do more shit like this? Or should I just keep making random content about all the different vehicles here? Should we just bounce around making videos? Or should I stick to like this? I didn't make any other content while I was building this engine. Should I continue to do stuff like this? Because now, make sure the tow truck's got brakes and then pull it around and get it to where I'm standing, which is going to be fun. So first I have to build an anchor point because I've got some lags or some anchors right there in my driveway, what I anchor my tire machine down to. So I'm going to build a little plate for there that I can hook a shiv wheel to, and then I'll just turn the Jeep around and run the winch cable through the wheel and down the driveway and just hook up to whatever's down there, so I don't have to push vehicles up the driveway. So got a little bit of stuff that I got to do before I can get the tow truck up in here, but as far as the motor build goes, this one's done. I like it. I think it turned out pretty damn good for me being an amateur idiot. So if you're still here, thank you for stopping by. I really do appreciate you coming, hanging out and spending time with me today. Wasn't a lot of action in this video, but I really didn't have a lot left to finish that engine up. I just wanted to get it out of the way so I didn't have to keep putting a bag on it and off of it and all that shit. And now it's ready to go back in the truck. Well, like I said, I still got to put some other stuff on the truck, like the motor mounts and all that shit first, but the motor's done. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it right here because I'm just rambling at this point. So we're gonna wrap it here. Remember, guys, your dreams aren't gonna work unless you do. So even if you're on a budget, you can still be balling on that budget. Because again, I just did a full rebuild.